Right, so we are now into June. Celtic will be back in training this month, albeit right at the end of the month. This Saturday will be 4 weeks to the day since Trophy Day. I'm not quite sure if it seems more or less time than that. I suppose it is that exact amount of time. I'm back from my holiday. You're back watching the channel, and we have so much to get through on today's video. We've got transfer news, non-transfer news. Well, that's actually everything, but there's a lot to get through, trust me. Let's do it. My holiday was great, by the way. I had a weekend in London. Buckingham Palace looked resplendent. I got to see the Royals. I just had a wonderful, wonderful time celebrating. Yeah, I went to Amsterdam for a few days just before I get completely cancelled for good this time on the Celtic internet. But you're not here to hear about my holiday. I guess you're here to hear about Celtic news. So let's get into that. Starting with transfer stuff and starting with potential incomings and Wales international Rabbi Matondo. Now, Wales Online say that talks have begun between Celtic and Matondo and his parent club Schalke, who are said to be fine with him leaving the club this summer. Matondo is a left winger. He was on loan at Cercle Bruges in Belgium last season and scored 10 goals in 27 matches. The likes of Fulham, Bournemouth and Anderlecht are all also said to be interested in him, as are major red flag Rangers. Now, I always think that when Celtic and Rangers are grouped together, and indeed we are both actually in the Wales Online headline for this article, I always think there's maybe a bit of lazy journalism going on there as well. Matondo did also come through the Manchester City Youth Academy a few years ago, so maybe that's more kind of easy journalism, let's just call it. But then again, maybe that is the genuine reason for why Celtic are actually after him. He is currently on international duty with Wales. He was an unused substitute in their World Cup final playoff victory over Ukraine. And I think he actually did play 45 minutes for them against Poland a few days earlier. Cercle Bruges' option to buy Matondo on the deal they had last year was around £3 million. So that is roughly what he would cost if we are going to move for him this summer. A name to keep an eye on, I would say, over the next few weeks. Right, let's go to goalkeeper corner because we've got 3 bits of news with regards to goalkeepers. The first bit of news is that Vasilis Barkas has left Celtic for FC Utrecht. And I'm only pronouncing it like that because I'm now fluent in Dutch after spending a few days in Amsterdam. Now, this is us clearly getting a revenge for the 2010 Europa League qualifier, Ricky van Wolfspinkel and all of that kind of stuff by selling Barkas to Utrecht. But it's only on a season-long loan deal. We don't believe there's an option to buy in the deal at all. I've seen reports that Utrecht will cover as much as 2/3 of Barkas' wage, which is obviously good news for Celtic. Their technical director, Jordi Zudam, described the move as an absolute boost, also saying that Barkas has good reflexes, rules in the air in the box, stands his ground in one-on-one duels, and has charisma. Are we talking about the same guy here? I'm not sure, but genuinely do wish all the best to Barky, and hopefully he can reignite his career from this point and has a really good season at a good level in a good league with Utrecht. Also wish all the best to Fraser Forster, who has today joined Tottenham Hotspur on a 2-year deal at the end of his contract with Southampton. Interesting to see how he goes on there. He's not going to be their first choice immediately anyway, but you know, I think Fraser Forster, if he gets a good run of games, is good enough to be a goalkeeper for whatever Spurs are, a top 6 English side. So well done to him for getting that move. In terms of Celtic incomings, it probably wouldn't be a summer transfer window without a report linking us with Benjamin Siegrist, the now former Dundee United goalkeeper. This one has just come from Stephen McGowan. He says that Ange is keen to bring in more experience in nets after losing Barkas, and Siegrist is high on the list of replacements. He would cost us nothing. His 4-year stay at Dundee United has come to an end this summer, and he would be a good option to have. My issue with this one is that Siegrist would be coming to the club to vie with Scott Bain to be a number 2. I don't think he'd be coming to be number 1. Now, there's an argument that he's probably an upgrade on Bain. I think given his performances against us in recent years that he probably is an upgrade on Bain. But is he that much of an upgrade on Bain that it really does make sense to make the signing, especially when we've got so many keepers at the club that you hope will get an opportunity at some stage, especially Toby Oluwayemi, who I think the club have high hopes for. Are you just putting another body in front of Oluwayemi to stop him progressing to be a number 1? Or is this just a stopgap measure? Is Oluwayemi just not ready at the moment even to be a number 2? Is he just a B-team goalkeeper at the moment? Got to question if we really need Siegrist, but then again, there's nothing really to be lost from signing a free agent who wouldn't be on massive wages if he did indeed want to come to the club. A player that it doesn't seem is going to be signing for Celtic is Christopher Scott. He is the Bayern Munich youngster who had reportedly been on our list for quite a while. I think we maybe first got a mention of his name back probably in January, maybe even last summer. I can't remember exactly. People got a little bit excited last week while I was away. Now, I'm not linking the two. People, jumping to conclusions because they don't have my videos to bring a level head to proceedings. I'm not sure if that is the case, but people did get very excited when Ghana Soccer Net reported that we were closing in on the signing of Scott. Now, do you not all remember the Patrick Tumazi fiasco of 2019? I'm going to assume not. Anyway, Sky Sports Germany have poured freezing cold water on the reports that Scott was an imminent signing for Celtic. They say that Bayern actually have the option of another year contract extension with Scott. And even if he does move on from them this summer, it will likely be to another German side. So given that we don't play in Germany, that would seem to rule Celtic out of signing Scott. So no move here. Could be a move for Mohammed Abu Fani, though. Really got to watch yourself with that one. He has also been mentioned as a potential Celtic signing this summer. He's a midfielder who plays for Maccabi Haifa, who are now the best team in Israel. They've won the league the last couple of seasons. Fani has been a regular for them and a really important player. He's also an Israel international, and in fact Israeli media have reported recently that Celtic have been scouting him while he was playing for his country in the same team as Liel Abada. Shock, he's a Dudu Dahan player and would reportedly cost us only around £800,000. Fani is 24 years old. He has been an important part of the Haifa team for a few years, but it's seen that he's now wanting to take his next step in his career. Just to completely generalise, I would say that none of the Dahan signings we've made have really been that spectacular, perhaps with the slight exception of Abada. But in general, the players have been reliable and they've all contributed to Celtic, even in, short bursts. So it would be hoped that if we did bring Fani in, that he would be a reliable player. I don't know if he goes by Fani or Abu Fani, but I guess we'll find out if the reports become any more concrete over the coming weeks. So Barkas is away, we've already covered that. Liam Scales to Aberdeen is gathering momentum. Seems like that would be a loan deal if it happens. I think finances would stop Aberdeen being able to sign him permanently. And I would kind of hope that Celtic would maybe still have some sort of hope in Scales being a first team player, or certainly a reliable backup player in years to come. Maybe he just needs a loan spell away from the club next year in Aberdeen. That seems like quite a good fit. He'd have an Irishman managing him. I don't know if that makes any sort of difference, but it just feels like quite a good fit at a good club, and would also strengthen Aberdeen against every other team in the league apart from ourselves. In terms of Aberdeen, actually, also reports that we could be looking at Connor Barron from the Dons. Reports saying we watched him in action for Scotland under-21s in their game against Belgium's 21s on Sunday. Barron had a strong second half of the season with Aberdeen. He's contracted at Pittodrie until 2024, and it's said that we would have to bid big for him. Another one to keep an eye on, Luca Connell has left Celtic for good. There is chat that he could be linking up with Scott Brown at Fleetwood Town. Ha, that rhymed. Kerr McInroy, another one who has moved on from Celtic. I believe Kilmarnock are the team. Looking at him, that may even have gone through. Loads of other names being linked with Celtic at the moment. It's that stage of the summer. There are genuinely probably 8 or 9 other names that I could have brought up in this video, but I felt like that was enough. I just wanted to bring up the main concrete ones. As always, if anything becomes even more substantial and Celtic are indeed about to sign a player, or if we do indeed sign a player, then we will go far more in depth in that and maybe even speak to someone about them. But if we did that for all of these names, we would look very foolish, you would all be very angry, and it would be a lot of work for me. So we're not going to do that right now. Finally, no update on Jota or Carter Vickers. Celtic did get everyone a little excited the other day when they posted this tweet of the Champions League dates with the calendar emoji showing the number 17. Now, if you go onto your phone and look at the calendar emoji, you'll notice that it always says the number 17. And I think the reaction of people to this one emoji kind of sums up how uptight and I guess excited people are for this signing to be made permanent. As always, I am very calm about this whole thing. I am very confident, supremely confident, that both Jota and Carter Vickers will be permanent Celtic players next season. However, I'm not buying any mugs at this stage. We'll see how that one goes. The Paradise banners are no more. These beautiful things have been taken down and are hopefully about to be replaced by something even nicer. Perhaps a giant image of Ange Postecoglou. Now, I think it's good that Celtic are doing this. I think Celtic Park is a lovely looking stadium. Just to digress slightly, I was in Amsterdam for a few days. I went to the Amsterdam Arena, or the Johan Cruyff Arena, on Friday. This arena stadium that everyone talks about as being one of the most iconic in Europe, and it's a cracking stadium. The facilities are great. That's why it hosts UEFA Europa League, Champions League finals fairly regularly, and obviously concerts and Dutch international games as well as Ajax. But having been there, it sometimes makes you appreciate the stadium we've got. And I think Celtic Park is a cracking stadium, both being inside and outside the ground as well. And any kind of move Celtic are making to make it look even better, to refresh things, I think is really positive, and it will only further increase the excitement ahead of next season. And last and definitely least, Celtic B will compete in the Lowland League next season. We'll be joined by Rangers B and Heart of Midlothian B, making the league a 19-team affair next season rather than the 18 it was the season just past. On top of that, the SFA say that guest clubs, which is ourselves, Rangers and Hearts, must field 7 players eligible to play for Scotland's national teams in their starting lineups. So that's good news as well. And we will, of course, keep you abreast of all of the Lowland League news next season. Right, that's you up to date for now. We've gone through a fair bit today. Hopefully that's you now aware of everything that's happening at Celtic. I don't know what you did for the last week while I was away, but we're back now and we can move on together. Don't forget to give us a sub if you've not managed to do it already. We are above the 30k mark now. We passed that a couple of weeks ago and we're not stopping there. We're just wanting to keep going. So it really does help us out. If you're watching this channel and you think, I'm not subscribed to them, you can do it right now. If you're watching on a laptop, you don't even need to leave the screen. You can just hover your mouse away down to the bottom right corner. It's maybe that or that, and get subscribed, and that'd be much appreciated. And in terms of videos, I'll be back tomorrow.